Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vool. And in this video we're going to have a look at how we can create smarter geometry node setups that work more cleanly in the modifier panel. So in a recent video we were having a look at the new array modifier that's in Blender 5.0. Now don't worry about that because we're going to be going back to Blender 4.5 to look at how we do this, but I just wanted to demonstrate what was so nice about this setup. So first of all we can change from line to circle and then to whatever else. And the options just change automatically below this, which is really nice from a visual perspective. We don't want a geometry node setup that's infinitely long. We've also got some options here where instead of having a drop-down box, we've got them set up so that they are side by side, because it again makes everything a little bit cleaner. If I just move this offset here, we can see what we're doing. So this is nice and something we want to be able to do, and once again this will change the options because some of them use different options here, like translate instead of offset. And then finally we've got some other options here where we can randomize things, and at the moment we can change all of our random things, for example the offset or the rotation, which is cool. But more than that, at the moment it's grayed out even though we can change the values, and then we can just turn this on and off as we want. So just some really nice clean layout in this geometry node panel. So this got me realizing that I'm pretty lazy with some of my geometry node setups and they just get very long. And this is a much cleaner way to do things. So let's have a quick look at how we can create something that's much cleaner ourselves when we're making our own geometry node setup. So we're back in Blender 4.5 and we're just going to start setting up a simple geometry node setup, definitely nothing anywhere close to as complex as that array modifier example that was shown earlier. So we've got this cube here. Let's just click new to start our geometry node setup. I'm going to A and decimal place to zoom in a bit, and then we'll come to our modifier panel, and this is where we want this to look really nice and neat. Now, first issue, if we have, just go to edit and preferences, the add-on modifier list, this won't work unless we change this to stack. If we change it to stack, it will be fine, but keeping it as list doesn't work, though I do generally prefer the list layout. I hope there's a way that we can actually sort this and customize this ourselves. I just haven't found how to do that yet. So if anyone does know how to customize our list setups, do let me know. I'd really appreciate a comment. So once we've got this sorted, we can start creating our panel and this will work really nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to have something that's not working off the geometry. So we'll get rid of that. And then we'll have, let's say, a cube. So let's bring in a cube primitive and drag that in here. And then we're going to have another object. So let's do a cylinder. And we'll put that here. And we're going to want to swap between these. We don't want to have to manually come in and drag between here each time to get this working. Now that's actually very easy to achieve now. If we just type in switch, we want a menu switch. And then we can see, well, this is going to be our option A. This is going to be our option B, and we drag this into our input. So at the moment we've got an option A and we've got an option B. Now I don't like the fact that this is called option A and option B. This is not very intuitive. So what I can do is come to this and click on node. If you don't have this, just hit N. Okay, so we have an N panel for this as well. And I can just double click on A and call this cube, and double click on B and call this cylinder. And now we get these showing here. We can go from cube to cylinder to cube. So what we're going to want to do is potentially change some of the bits about our cubes and our cylinder. Let's just drag these over here and give ourselves a bit more space. So I probably want to sort out the size of my cube. So let's drag this into our group input, and you'll notice this now appears here. I'll leave the vertices, but we could do that if we want to. So now I can change the size of my cube on my different axes as I want. And for our cylinder, we're going to want to change the, let's say, the vertices and the radius and the depth. So at the moment, we've got all of this showing here. And what you'll notice is that our vertices, radius and depth are grayed out because at the moment, we're not on that option in the menu switch. We can change this to cylinder and then it's going to gray out the other ones. But we actually want to have this so that these appear and disappear, and this is very easy to do. So I'm just going to Shift and D to duplicate this group input. And all we do is drag our selection box, which is just here, and drag that into one of our inputs. Now this is going to be a bit weird here because at the moment we've got cylinder, and if I go to cube, you'll notice it changes it, but we've got the options above, so we probably don't want that. So let's come here, go to our group. So first of all, we don't need this geometry input at the top. Notice outputs are on the right hand side, inputs are on the left for where the dots are. So let's just get rid of that geometry. And then I'm going to click on menu, and we're just going to drag that all the way to the top. So now the menu's at the top, and I can go from cube to cylinder. And it changes the options that are underneath it. So we now have a much cleaner panel, which is great. So Blender's doing this all automatically by itself. Now the other thing we can do here, if we choose to, is if we come to our menu, in this group menu we have this option for expanded. Now without that clicked, we have the drop down menu, and with that clicked, it then comes side by side. So we can just choose which one is more preferable to us. You can also have this hidden, but then that wouldn't be very useful. But I'm not sure why you'd create this group input and then have things that are hidden. Maybe it's if you've set this up and decide you don't want it later. So I'll just mention that's there too. So this is solving a lot of these issues with this being clean in the modifier stack by just having this switch menu that we've integrated into our group input. Now, what about those options? For example, here we've got this manage one. All of our modifiers will have this automatically, but we want to create ones of our own. Right, let's add in a transform geometry node. So we've got that here. So we might want to move whatever object we've got in, let's say on the X or on the Y or whatever. And you'll notice now, if we swap this between cube and cylinder, because this is later on, they're remaining at that new location. So to set this up so this appears with this drop down is again relatively easy. It's just not always as obvious as you'd want of how to do this. But once you know it, it's there and it's good to go. So what we're going to do is just bring in another group input. It doesn't need to be a separate one. I just find it cleaner. And we're just going to move translation and rotation and scale all into here. So now these appear here. And you'll notice in our panel, this is great because our cube and our cylinder information still changes, but we keep our translation, rotation and scale underneath it. So what if we want to have this in its own drop down box? Well, again, we do this over here in the group menu. So we're going to go to group sockets, which are here. And what we're going to do is click this plus and choose the option for panel. And we gain this panel here. So we're going to rename this. So we'll call this transform panel. And that's now there. And we've got this drop down, but it's not doing anything because we need to drag things into it. So let's drag in our translation. That's now in there. And then we'll drag in our rotation, that's in there as well, and we'll drag our scale, and that's in there as well. So now if we come back to our modifier panel, we have a transform panel that we can change whether we have it visible or not visible, but even if we have it so that it's open, it's a really nice way of just showing what there is here, and it's broken up. Now we can also have this, if we want to, closed by default. That means if we ever make a new node like this, or it's something if we bring in as an asset that it will be closed automatically, or we can tell it to be open automatically. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to have that closed by default. But at the moment, this is always on. So this is always working. In that earlier version, we had a tick box here where we could turn this off and on. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we do is come back to here, and we're going to click plus, and we're going to click panel toggle. So now this becomes an input. And you'll notice that we suddenly get transform panel appearing in our group input. If I undo that, that group input didn't have anything for the panel. As soon as I click plus and panel toggle, we now gain an input for this. And over here, we now get a tick box. But this tick box doesn't do anything. It is just there for show. It's not connected to anything. So at the moment, ticking this doesn't turn it on or off. It's still always on. So at this point, this tick box is pointless. We've got to make it work. So to do that, we use another switch. But for this, we want a much more simple switch. So let's just come in here, Shift A, and type in switch. And we just want a standard switch, a two-way switch, which is false or true. And if we bring this over here, what we want is our false, when the switch is off, to not have a transform. So we're going to drag that into there. And when we do have it on, we want to have the transform. So let's just drag that across and we've got this working. So now if I click the switch, it's there with our transform working. If I turn it off, it's back where it is. And you'll notice this automatically grays out this panel and we can change everything about it and nothing actually happens. Let's just do the rotation. We'll do that in the X. And you can see with the switch off, nothing's happened. With it on, we've got there Oh, and we've got our rotation. That just wasn't enough degrees to show. So there we go. But still, this button is not connected to this switch. And this is where this transform panel that's appeared in our group inputs becomes important. Let's just copy this over here. All we need to do is drag this switch node into the transform panel, or whatever you've called this, and suddenly they are connected together. And now, suddenly this tick box is what allows you to control whether this is on or off. So that is pretty much everything you need to do this, as far as I'm concerned. This is great. Oh, there is one more thing actually I should probably show you. Now, you can actually nest these so that one appears inside the other. So for example, if I want another panel, let's come here, click plus and click panel. I can have a panel within this panel, and we could call this, let's say, translation. And let's put the translation inside translation. I probably should have made that a bit more sensible in wording. And then I could do the same thing for rotation and put rotation into it, and then scale as well. There we go. And let's just put these in the right order. So we want rotation there, then we want translation there inside this node. So now we have the transform panel, and inside that, individual ones. Now for this, I don't really like that, so I'm going to get rid of it. I don't think it's necessary. But if you did have a very complex geometry node setup, that again could be very useful. And once again, you could have those panel toggles for each of them if you chose to. So there we go. That's how we're going to make our geometry node setup vastly neater within our modifier panel. And as I say, this is definitely preferable to what I've had there previously. It makes everything easier to follow and work through. Hopefully you found that easy to follow, and this is something you're going to use yourself. If this was useful, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button. It really helps share the videos around. And if you want to get this file just as a bit of a demonstration, I know there's nothing complex to it, but it's nice sometimes to have a look, then this is going to be available on the Patreon, which is the other way that you can support the channel. And it's the Patreons that really give me the time to be able to make these videos. So as always, thank you very much, Patreons. You are what makes this channel be able to work. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.